Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Intuitive Art Mediums for this collective shadow work reading. The oracle decks that I'll be using is the Rooted Woman and the Witch's Shadow Work. So let's get into the reading. The tarot that I'm going to be using will be the Haunted Cats, because sometimes our shadow can haunt us because it wants to be acknowledged and recognized and to integrate with the consciousness. So let's get a few cards from the Haunted Cats Tarot. Okay, Spirit toss this one out. The Chariot. Okay, it wants to be in the driver's seat, bringing you independence and freedom, success, moving forward. Next, we have the Knight of Chalices, and it wants to move forward with love, bringing love into your life, learning to love your shadow, because your shadow in many ways is your strength. That's hidden strength, hidden potentials. Next, we have the Seven of Staves. Okay, that's the Seven of Wands, standing in your truth. And I feel like that what these three cards are saying is, if you want to have your independence, approach your shadow with love. And the Seven of Staves is giving you that confidence to stand in your own truth. Sometimes we fall into people-pleasing habits because that's how we were raised. And we tend to sacrifice bits of ourselves when we do that. We're not standing in the truth of our authentic self. And the Chariot here is giving you that renewal of energy to be successful and to explore the possibilities, because the Chariot can take you anywhere you want to go. It could also represent some shadow aspects are the driving force of your motivation. And it is motivating you with love. The Knights are instigators of change, and the Knight of Cups is bringing love into the picture and standing in your truth for the love of yourself. So let's get some clarifying cards here for you. And we have the Four of Pentacles. Okay, the Four of Pentacles, it's a foundation card as far as finances and possessions go, but it can also have this fear block around money. So I feel like that with the Four of Pentacles being on the Chariot, you feel like that your freedom is blocked due to your financial means. And there are plenty of things that you can do that cost very little money or no money at all. Going to parks in your neighborhood, they usually don't cost anything to go into. Exploring nature. Four Pentacles is the earth. So Pentacles is about earth. And I feel like that the Chariot is also encouraging you to explore the possibilities of expanding your capabilities, of expanding your wealth, and doing that which you love with the Knight of Cups, which we have the Five of Wands on. I do feel like that there could be this internal argument going on, or maybe there's people around you that are discouraging you or causing you to doubt yourself in your abilities. The Knight of Chalices is helping you to release that with love and turning that love towards yourself. So, regardless of what anybody says, you should do what you love to do. Work with the resources that you have with this Four of Pentacles, because the Four of Pentacles does represent that you do have a foundation to go after what you want to do, that you love to do. That foundation can be the resources that you already have in doing what you love to do, and to not listen to the naysayers around you. People who don't want you to succeed are going to insert doubt. Why do you want to do that? Do you really think you can do that? How do you expect to have success? And the thing here is, when you do what you love, that is the success, because it's expanding the love. And with the Seven of Staves, we have the Moon. Okay, the Moon can be uncertainty, but the Moon is also asking you to stay on your path. This path is for you, and it travels to the mountains of your accomplishments, hopes, and dreams. And there is a portal here with the two towers. So you are nearing a portal. And here I also feel like that, this is also the cat and the dog here can also be those naysayers. And by staying on your path, you're not wandering into the energy of people who are causing you to doubt yourself. Stay focused on what feels right for you, and you will align yourself with your true potentials. And the Moon card is also, there's that illusion. It's also about dreams. So listen to your dreams. And the Moon also rules over our emotional state, our emotions. So notice that where the Moon is and how that impacts your emotions. You might want to keep a little Moon journal and look at what sign and phase the Moon is in, and just write, a couple keywords of how you are feeling. And in time, you may notice a pattern with the moon cycles. At the time of this recording, it is the new moon in Cancer, and later this evening, the moon is going to enter Leo, which will conjunct with Jupiter as well as oppose Pluto. So I do feel like that there's a new beginning to dive deep into the subconscious, which is also the moon, and delve into those parts of you that are hiding in the shadow that want to be acknowledged, recognized, loved, and healed, because you are bringing love to your inner truth. And it feels like that you may be in an environment with this Five of Wands that, keeps injecting doubt. But when you realize that, it makes you stronger. You can recognize those situations, those people, those behaviors. And are you mimicking any of those negative behaviors to fit in, to be accepted in that social group or family dynamic? The Five of Wands is like sparring. And sparring, nobody is out to really hurt anybody. It's training, it's practice, it's helping you to realize where your weak spots are so that you can fortify them with the truth by staying on your path and staying true to your purpose. Okay, let's get you a Rooted Woman Oracle card. And we have for you River Flow. And here we have a white owl, a fox, and a fawn. And we have this river flow. Now, the fox represents the in between places, the dusk and dawn. And to me, how I'm seeing this is that which is rising up from the unconscious to be integrated into the consciousness, bringing you wisdom with this owl. And then the fawn is a kind of innocence. And we also have a moon over here. Now, this moon could be rising, it could be setting, however that feels to you. At the bottom of the deck, we have Peregrina. We have a raven and we have another fox and another pathway, staying true to your path. This card is like the Fool in the High Arcana of the Tarot, and she is beginning a new journey of self-discovery. And the raven and the fox are her guides. Now I am going to read a little bit of this river flow. Okay, here we have rivers and springs. The old stories tell us have their origins in the other world and carry with them its life-giving nourishment. In European myth and folklore, they're closely identified with divine women who are present in the water's flow. From the perspective of a map, the path of a river might seem to be fixed, but the truth is they are dynamic beings. A river's course will shift and flex during its long lifetime, and its waters will swell or diminish from day to day. Sometimes a river will rise and break free of its banks, casting off that restrains its flow. It's the ultimate in flexibility, but its strength must not be underestimated. When the rock meets water, it's rock that always eventually gives way. A river is a silver thread snaking through the land. She's everywhere and nowhere. She travels on past us, but still she remains. She's the flow of all of our longings, the flow of inspiration that propels us through this life. She knows exactly where she's headed. From the very beginning, she's always on her way home to the sea. The river always leads you home. If you can only bring yourself to trust the flow of life as it carries you onward. This card invites you to trust that flow of life, to stop resisting, and believe that the course you're taking through, often it will twist, and sometimes it will turn back on itself, will eventually lead you home. Okay, and as we know, rivers can also have rapids, waterfalls, and it shifts throughout the seasons. Let's get a shadow work card. And I do feel that with this Knight of Chalices, which is water and emotion and an instigator of change, I feel like that going with the flow rather than resisting it will help you to stay true to your path and stay in your truth. And some of you may have had some pretty rough river rides emotionally, and that could have lasted for a short period of time or longer periods of time, even, decades. And now you are coming into the calmer waters where you can flow. You're not being tossed about. But the key is not to resist. Okay, with the shadow work card, we have the inner child. I really like this because your inner child is key to your shadow. What was shut down when you were a child? What did your family dynamic expect of you? And shaping your behavior that kind of went against your own inner nature, um, denying your natural abilities, um, maybe having to block your potentials to fit in, to be accepted, because when you're a child, it's important to you do those things to stay safe, to be protected. At the bottom of the deck, we have the moon. And because we have the moon here, I do feel like that is also a confirmation to paying attention to the moon phases, how that impacts your mood, your emotions, and maybe encouraging you to keep a moon journal. So let me read from the book, The Inner Child. And the inner child asks, which childhood memory hurts you most? How do you see your inner child? Is it playing happily and safely without a care? Or is it a small and vulnerable and in need of protection? If it is the latter, you may have buried the pain you experienced in childhood to protect yourself now. Understanding and loving your inner child is central to shadow work. Wounds inflicted in childhood can affect adult behavior and lead to unhealthy, unhappy, or abusive relationships, or an inability to connect well with others. The 5 most common inner child wounds are rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, and injustice. As a child, we have had little power to heal damage caused by these, but as an adult, we can face them. When your needs for love, recognition, praise, and other types of emotional support go unmet in childhood, the resulting trauma can affect your adult life. Ignoring the pain that exists in your shadow doesn't heal it. It will resurface. Look it square in the eye, and you are on your way to healing. Your affirmation is, my happiness is my own responsibility. And I do feel like that is speaking to the Seven of Wands here, of standing in your own truth. And when things aren't going right, take that as spirit giving you guidance to realign with your path, with your flow. Okay, and then a healing that you can do is talk to your inner child. Having a conversation with your inner child may feel eccentric. If it does, try writing a letter instead, but it is helpful to understand buried shadow emotions and experiences from childhood. Looking at a photograph from your childhood is a good prompt. It will help you remember what it felt like to be a child you. Another option would be try looking yourself in the eyes in a mirror. Now, some of you may have difficulty in making eye contact, especially if you are dealing with shame or being made to feel guilty about being who you are. And that, of course, is connected with shame, humiliation, being ridiculed, feeling rejected and abandoned, not fitting in, especially if you were the black sheep of your family. And so, practicing looking yourself in the eye, in the mirror, is a great way to communicate to yourself. And looking yourself in the eye, making eye contact with yourself, and reading your facial expressions in the mirror. Mirror therapy can be extremely helpful. Okay, so talk to your inner child as you would a living person. Ask them questions and listen to what they have to say. You could ask them if they are angry, and if so, what caused the anger. Reasons could include reject or neglect, abandonment, rejection, or a particular incident. Does your inner child feel insecure and in need of comfort? How do they seem? Are they vulnerable and small? Do you look guilty or ashamed? Or are they happy, laughing, and playful? Finally, ask them how you can support them and what they need from you. Write your findings in your shadow journal. So, this is a very healthy way to communicate with your shadow and bringing some of those unconscious feelings or things that have been buried to the surface so that it can integrate with consciousness. Okay, let's get you a Fearless Familiars. This is also part of the Haunted Cats. This is the Oracle deck that is with this. Okay, this card came out, and we have the Guardians. I like that because this shows you are protected. There is a protector within you. Something within you kept you protected. Okay, so the keywords is protection, shielding, and avoidance. So some of you may have learned to avoid certain kinds of people. And when you come across other people that feel familiar in that toxic kind of way, sometimes we're drawn to that because it is familiar, but other times we recognize it and we learn to avoid it, to avoid conflict. So the twin familiars of the guardians make themselves known when you are in some sort of danger. They're meant to guard both your body and your mind and to allow no physical or emotional harm to come to you. If this card has come to you, it may be that you are engaging in risky behavior. You could be in peril of physical danger, of at risk of being taken advantage of by another person, or both. The guardians desire to protect you, not necessarily by removing you from all risk, but by increasing your awareness of it. For instance, if you are in a job and you just have this inner urge that's like, this is not a good place for me, uh, toxic people, you know, people are lying to you, keeping you in the dark, they're not helping you. And then when you make a mistake, they humiliate and shame you over it when they should have been teaching you. And sometimes that happens. I mean, it has happened to me in certain jobs, and you just get this feeling, I got to get out of here. And sometimes you might feel that, okay, I have to just stick it out because, you need the money to pay the bills and you don't have another job to back that up. But if the feeling is really strong, you may need to consider to remove yourself from that situation, because sometimes talking to somebody in the workplace about that situation is actually going to make it worse. So, it is, of course, impossible to move through the world without assuming any risk. That said, the guardians intend to open your eyes about the true nature of the hazards before you. Whether you're skydiving, driving without your seatbelt, or dating, they want your eyes open and your head clear. In most cases, simple awareness of danger is enough to minimize it. And I do feel like that this brings us back to the moon card, because these two creatures here give you that sense of danger. They represent hidden enemies. And when you sense that, it should encourage you to stay on your path, because you will be safe so long as you stay on your path that is embedded in your truth. Okay, let's get you a couple cards from Avalon Magic. Actually, let's go with the Shadow Healing cards first. Here is your artwork, and it says reject. Dismissing opinions too quickly can lead to neglecting important information. By taking time, the truth will become apparent and you will view the situation in a different light. So if you have felt rejected, maybe talk to yourself in the mirror. Why do you feel rejected? Um, are you rejecting other people's advice or guidance? Are you rejecting your own shadow's guidance? Here is your artwork. Dishonesty. Don't confuse dishonesty with a difference of opinion. Everyone has their own take on the situation, and you are required to respect the differences. And this can also be a great way of healing, because other people have their own opinions. It doesn't mean that you disagree, but you have your own perspective. And if other people, like in this Five of Wands, are giving you unsolicited advice of what you should be doing, just look at it as like, okay, there's a difference of opinion. Follow your own intuition, especially with these cards. How do these cards resonate with you personally? I'm just trying to give you examples that may resonate with you. Some of them may not resonate with you, and that's okay. Go with what resonates with you because this is a general reading. And most importantly, do not reject your own opinions, your own intuitions. And then here is your artwork, and we have darkness. As dark as it seems, it's your choice whether to stay shrouded in the abyss or cast aside the cloak and rejoin the others in the warmth of their light and energy. There's nothing wrong with being in the shadows, in the darkness, especially if you are transforming yourself. You don't necessarily have to share that with the world. Personal transformation is just that. It's something that's personal. And even with the moon, we have moon shadows, but there's also illumination. It's okay to reject what doesn't feel right to you, but also being honest with who you are, standing in your own truth. And if other people are trying to push their opinions upon you, stand in your truth, just like, hey, you have your opinion. You're filtering your experiences through your own life experiences, as we all do, and let them be who they are. But you do not need to conform to other people's opinions. Learn to stand in your truth and accept yourself for who you are. And now let's get you an Avalon Magic card. Okay, here is your artwork. And here we have another owl, a brown owl. And access your deep feminine intuition and allow new possibilities to flow. And I really like this because the river is feminine. It is about flow. And the banks of the river is protection. Let me get this. Oh, my cards don't want to cooperate. Here we go. And you are meant to explore with this Knight of Chalices what new potentials, what new opportunities and possibilities are flowing your way. And then we have this card. The path isn't always a straight line. You come back to things that you thought you understood, and then you see deeper truths. I feel like that is very true with the river as well as the moon cards. You're going and standing in your truth. So I am going to get you one more card. Here is your artwork. Let your love overflow at the end of your life. You will be asked, how deeply did you love? And that is part of your healing your inner child. Loving yourself is the most challenging because when we're honest with ourselves, and you don't have to share everything with anybody, you can just write it down in your journal. That's the beautiful thing about journals, is you can tell them anything. And it gives you a chance to reflect, but it also gives you a chance to bring that out into the light. And also with the mirror therapy, when you look at yourself in the eye, find the love reflected back to you. And this will also create this love flow between yourself and your inner child and who you want to be. So I'm going to end this reading here. This is a timeless shadow work reading, and I hope that it helped you, inspired you, gave you some guidance. And until next time, take care and blessed be, my friends.